Here's the Take 10 Studios for the year 2020. And today what we're going to do is have a little walkthrough on Studio A ISO booth, the infamous resonance bell build to give us a controlled environment. We're going to walk through that right now. This is the ISO booth 500 because, well, 100 just, it's not as 500-ish. You know what I mean? Why have 100 if you can have 500? This is made of 1/2-inch MDF panels, so it's extremely dense, very heavy, built in 6 pieces. A 2x4 construction, and the 6 pieces are the roof, 2x4 stick construction with blown-in insulation on both the roof and the floor. The booth itself is 4x4x7, and as well as being completely soundproof, it is also airtight. So you'll see the in and out ports for air there that had to be built into this booth because, well, you know, anything after 5 or 10 minutes in here with this door shut, and you're going to be very, very lightheaded, sweaty, uncomfortable. So with that being said, we did wire this and we did make a separate box. Why separate? We needed this detached from the actual studio to stop any frequency noises from being transmitted through into the booth itself. The box itself is separated in half and features venting that's been turned 4 times. Each turn that you make consequently lowers the noise floor that's created by the actual movement of the fans. The fans themselves will create noise. You notice how I keep my finger a good 1/2 inch away from the fans because putting them in there would be, ow. Well, there you go. So you see, it's a learning channel. Don't do that. You will see that we have 4-inch thick 704. What this stuff does is it really, at the end of the day, it traps all the noise. So when you close this door, like we are now closing, and lock yourself in the booth, not only are we dead in here in respect to the sound, but we've knocked down any lower frequencies. So that had to be done. You'll note down at the bottom there that we're also wired. We are wired front and back. If you're going to build an ISO studio, what is the point of finishing the job only to realize you have to run your cords inside, leaving a door open or cutting a hole in the wall? So obviously we wired the microphone and headphone inputs. And on this side here, we'll be wiring Keystone Cat 5. I believe it is. That's going to be for video. So for our ADR sessions, you're following along in the booth with your producer being out here, either in Studio A or hooked up by Source Connect somewhere else. And that is ISO Booth A. Shortcomings on this project. Hey, Joyce. Hi. She likes to hang out on top of the booth for all the recordings. You can call her the quality inspector. Obviously, when you build your first, there's always things you're going to learn after the fact. And the one thing that we did learn on Studio A is that, we inadvertently created a resonance bell. How did we do that? We made this 4x4x7. We made it airtight, soundproof. So if you think of sound as, let's say water, for instance. That sound comes out of your mouth, it's got to go somewhere. That's got to go somewhere, and it's not coming out because we made that airtight and soundproof. So it kind of hangs out above the top. And there's a pressure and it stays there. So the 704 is there to be able to suck that all up. It's not your typical insulation from the standpoint of, let's say, what you have between your walls with the pink stuff. This stuff is it cellulose, I believe it's called? I may be wrong about that. But essentially speaking, it's trapping pressure as opposed to trapping heat, or not allowing for cold conductivity between the walls. But by creating 4x4x7, we made it more of a hassle for us, because if we would have gone 4x5x7, 5x7 by whatever, we would have not had this issue as we do with the 4x4x7. So that was the one thing we did learn about that. As mentioned, it's built in 6 pieces, so this comes apart in 6 pieces: roof, floor, 4 walls, and God forbid if you're the poor sap with the short end of the straw that has to pick the wall with the window and that box that we built on there. Just to let you know, I think they sell these for, I don't know, I've seen some pretty crazy money being asked for some of these booths, and that was the reason why we built ours. I mean, what's the point of paying $10,000 for a room, right? I mean, no. This was $800 in materials, and another further $800 in foam. The 704 itself was about half that, and then we had some Orlex foam that we got here for treatment in the production bay too as well. So that stuff's pretty expensive, considering it really doesn't do much. And honestly, Orlex foam, it doesn't really do much. It looks good. All right, so that's a wrap. Got to go to my Pro Tools session here and get to work, but maybe what we'll do is we'll do a video on the production bay, the features of the production bay, the equipment, our dedicated preamps and compressors, stuff like that. All right, so until next time we see you, drink beer.